I was thinking maybe my head's too big for my body. Like now I've got a way to download. Now I'm just gonna be going all the time. Just talking about weird shit. I it's like 3:30. It's like 3:33 in the morning, and there's a fucking dog hair right there on my tea. Ay, ay, and I'm on my second cup of tea, and I'm super super out of it. That I was weird because I was going so deep into sleep, and I was just like immediately going into these dream world and stuff, and Stella woke me up. And I know that because I was thinking, oh, I guess we're going to get up. But immediately I was in another dream. And then she woke me up again out of that. I was like, oh my God. So I feel really, really out of it. But what was so weird is this one dream that I had. I've been like having one after another where it's like, I don't know. I think we're going to places. And this was so weird. So I was somewhere in Africa. And I don't know if it was like Ethiopia, Nigeria, or where I was. And I was watching these guys playing basketball, huge, tall guys. And it wasn't like they were just playing, they were preparing, like practicing. And their moms, I know there was a couple moms there or dads. They had like a family person there. And and it was real like rudimentary, and it wasn't like a fancy at all. It was like out in a field, and and then it was like the people over here where I was, it was just like 10 people. It was like I was standing by family members or something. And so they were, I was standing over there by them, but then one of the moms started measuring her son. And so they were trying, like it was, I don't know, a height like it was like about their height, but it was like they were preparing them to go to America to be basketball players. And so everything was like this, you know, winning, you know, for your height. And these guys were giant. And so the mom, like the kid had to lay down. So he's laying down so she can measure him. So she's going from the top and measuring down. And I can't remember. He was like, uh, I can't remember how tall he was. I remember so much what he looked like though. He was so skinny and so lanky and so bony. And he had on some hair hat thing and shorts and stuff, so you could see his knees and stuff. But his mom like had to walk next to him to measure how long he was, and he just looked so giant laying there. And then there was these other kids, and so at this point, I'm at this other end of this fence, and I'm standing by myself, and I'm watching, and it's like then they start like saying their heights, and everybody was really excited. And remember there was two guys that were over 8 foot. One was like 8'4", and one I can't remember how tall. They were so huge, and they were standing like the guy who was 8'4" looked like standing next to his dad, I think it was. And so they're going down the thing, and they're all so excited, you know, like this is their opportunity. And I started clapping. I start clapping for him, and everybody looks over to me, and then everybody's all excited and cheering and stuff. And it was, I don't know, it was just the weirdest thing. It was so real. It was so real. It's just, I can't get it off of my mind. Like I was there, and then I woke up out of it or something, but I was like really there. And then the, like I'm curious to see like when is the basketball thing started? Is it going to be these guys? There probably always is these guys that are getting uh, um what is that called? When they send out like the sports headhunter guys that go out, the agents or whatever that go out to look for the talent. And I think that there's a lot that go over there. And so then when I was seeing those guys for how tall they were, and the one who was so lanky and stuff, he looked like the two that were 8 foot, they looked stocky, like Shaquille O'Neal. And then the other, the one guy, he looked so, oh man, God. And, and it was making me think, I wonder, like the genetic mutation or whatever to make these people so tall, and how there's such a pocket of them in this certain area. And I was thinking, I wonder if it is, scientists are doing something over there, or if they are linked to some race of giants at some point or something. Like, there's got to be more going on. There's got to be more to it. And I don't know that they all make a team or something. Like, I don't even know that one is so lanky, because they also have to be able to run. Well, they have to, some of those guys just over their height just get in and they don't have to do shit. And I think it depends on the team and the agent. I think some agents, maybe they work for certain teams, like they look for certain things. And so they could be like, well, we really need a tall guy, even if he can't run, even if he can't throw, if he can catch and put it in the basket, which it seems kind of absurd, is that you don't move the basket up when you have these tall guys, or change the game, like, because it isn't the same game. It seems like there should be height, like a height thing, like the 5'10" guys to the 6'3" guys. They're a group, and then the 6'3" into maybe 7'5" or something. But maybe 6'3" guys could play. But it still seems like if you're 6'3" guys playing with the 8-foot guy, like you couldn't even reach her. Like, what? Like, it just doesn't seem right. It just seems absurd. Like, there's so many things out there that just seem absurd, but it's like that we have to be the ones that say, wait a minute, that's absurd. What are you guys doing? Change this. Which, hold on, let me get a swig of this. Which, there's some guy on TikTok I see, and every day he is telling what Doge is doing. So they just found 1.6 or $1.9 billion that was slotted for HUD, and during Joe's reign, it was just sitting there, which all Joe's pardons got ruled out. None of them stand there. He got ruled against yesterday. They said the judicial said, well, if there's no crime, then how could you pardon? Like, that's stupid. And so, anyways, it didn't work. They're going to get charges. That's the way it's going to go. I mean, everything, you got to think about, the universe is bringing in the change. So everything is going to start going in a different way. And it's going to shock some people, because some people are used to doing dirty. And it's going to keep on flipping. And so, and it will flip in all these individuals. Because I see it like this card game thing or something, like the game of concentration or something, where you have all those cards. But I see it on this game thing. I don't know if I've seen this game before or whatever, but it's like all these cards popping up. And I've seen that before on a different thing where I was shown a different, like, vision of it. And it was, everything was popping up. There's just like all the different things happening in different people's lives are the popping up. It's the changing of the energy. And people just don't realize, like, their part that they're playing and which direction that they take it. Like, you're going to champion yourself, or you're going to go victim. And so that is, everybody is the creation of all of this thing. So everybody has a part. And so all these different parts are popping up at different times. And so, anyways, finding this $1.9 billion, like, they're going to find enough to get us out of fucking debt. Like, this is going to be so, they're going to, there was something with the taxes yesterday. They said, We've overpaid so much that they're going to have to give back. Southern or South Carolina, they are giving them all their tax money back or something so they can rebuild. See, I'm telling you, it's going to keep coming in these certain ways. There's going to be, I keep getting this stuff like my tax things for the acquisition of my house. It's like, you fucking, I'm going to keep it all for records or whatever, because it's all fucking bullshit. They just take things from us and they think that they can get us in traps and stuff, but you gotta just like, fuck you. I'm so fucking over this. And, you know, I was in the trap for a long time. Luckily, though, I can see that the trap has got a hole. And so now I feel more, you know, like there's a way out. It's not like we're really trapped in here. There's a way out. So it's just that, you know, the hole's got to get bigger and bigger and we all got to make our way out of it. Hold on, let me drink this real quick. But I don't even have any tissues in my pockets. But the hole is there, and everybody's gonna have to see it for themselves. And it's kind of like when you get so fed up that you can't stand it. And that's why there's so much of the disclosure is so outrageous and so absurd, because when it wasn't, people weren't paying attention. So it has to be absurd and outrageous to get attention, to create change, because otherwise people just go about their business. So that is a reason why it's so crazy. And there's like all sorts of teachers getting busted. There's teachers running prostitution rings out on the schools, using the kids. Like, I'm telling you, there's so much illegal shit in the schools and stuff. And I told my mom yesterday, I said that that's the thing with the schools. They're all criminals. Like, everything that is a government institution is like a screen. It's like a camouflage for the bad people. And so it is used by them to commit crimes and stuff. So yeah, it's government education, and they think that they can just get there and get control of your kids. People don't really care. They just drop them off and want the government to teach them. So the government thinks that they have the authority, they have the right to do whatever they want, even to take people's kids. And that is a big thing too that's going to be coming out with all this stuff, is the CPS and DSS records. And I hear videos all the time. People's kids are being stolen. They steal kids from people, definitely minorities, but also people who don't have money. And if you've got drug problems or maybe stealing problems because you're broke as fuck, then the government has no reason to want to help you. They just want to take your kids because that's big money. And so anyways, there's going to be more of it. Like, some of that stuff is so hidden, but what it's going to be showing is like weird trails, weird things that people, there's going to be a lot of stuff. You know, I don't know how deep it'll go, but it goes deep. But I don't know how to, because it just keeps going. Like, already RFK has already come out and said he's putting a stop to the spraying. He's like, that's a crime and we're stopping it. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of little things probably where we're going to start feeling better. Suddenly our allergies are going away. Won't that be nice after years of allergies? Allergies are just, it's not seasonal anymore. It's just it lasts for years. It started in about 2020 and it's gone on for, I think it started sooner than that for me, where I started having weird allergies because I was going to the doctor and complaining about these symptoms, and then they're like, well, that's allergies. And so they put me through this long allergy testing, this blood test. They tested everything in your blood to see what you're allergic to, and came back I wasn't allergic to anything. So it's your body's response. But I already had added the Epstein-Barr at that point. And once I had the Epstein-Barr, I thought it already put me into autoimmune. So my body's going to hyper react to anything that any anything it doesn't want in there, it has a hyperreactive process. So overrun with inflammation and snot and all that stuff. And so anyways, I'll be glad to see the allergies go. It's about fucking time. And then it will also be on the food, but everything's going to be dramatic. Like they're going to have to be taking the food places down while they're just exposing all this stuff. Like they're going to expose these things that are happening, and then they're going to have to expose the people involved and all that. I would think stuff with the spraying and stuff is going to definitely lead back to corporation connection back to the PHARM. So it is going to, it's funny because it's all the farms, you know, because like I had said a long time ago, in order to sell your produce and to these companies, these corporations and stuff, they have requirements. And so those requirements are how it ends up being that stuff is sprayed with certain kinds of things that are bad for us. It's what the people have to, hoops that they have to jump through in order to sell their produce anymore. Everything has been so more complicated by the powers that be to make things so much harder. And a lot of people have complied and done things that they didn't feel in alignment with. There's a lot of people who do things that go against their own grain, but they do it because they can't think of anything else. You know, well, what else am I going to do? But when you do that and you go against your own grain, you create a misery in yourself. You create a guilt, a tension. You create something that your soul will keep reminding you you're going against yourself. And so it's very uncomfortable. I don't know how so many people do it. I think that some people live in pain and suffering from doing it, but I also think that there's some people that are just that disconnected from their inner voice. And that, I think, is going to, when it comes on, it's going to be a lot. That is going to be a lot with the healing thing. When the people start listening to themselves and start connecting to themselves, start trying to trust themselves and stuff, because that's what you, all of a sudden you're psychic and all that. It's like when you can understand your communication and you can read your own signs and the communication, the sign. What was the other thing? There was another thing in there I was seeing. But it's if I was meant to say it, I would say it. If I'm meant to, it'll come out. But it's learning how to trust like your intuition, and it's your connection inside to yourself. And that is where people, this throat clearing thing is driving me insane. It's the people who, the people who can connect to their intuition and trust themselves, those people are the ones that are psychic and stuff. And it doesn't have to be 100% accurate on all these things, because there's things that you can see into. The things that I would say need to be accurate is when you're talking about like these people who like they go help the cops find somebody and stuff. Like they have to be accurate on that stuff. But like there's so many people doing so many predictions right now, and it can be stuff that they're seeing. They can be seeing it. They can be seeing it in dreams. It can be real, but it doesn't. But there's another part to being able to understand your information, and then also being able to like translate it. But it can be happening in different. To me, there's just so much happening, and so there's just like, it's like you could just kind of point at anything. Oh yeah, this is going to happen. Oh, that's going to happen. That's going, because there's just so much happening. So being able to pick up on like, oh, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Is just being able to see the future, see what's ahead. And there's lots of people, but there's so many people who are so disconnected from their spirit that they don't understand life towards a spiritual path. Archie, what are you doing? I don't know if that's Archie or if there's a cat. There's a door into the house right there. And that room is where the cat, not all the cats, but some of the cats, she calls it the cat room. And so I don't know if it's trying to claw its way out. I keep wondering, is there a cat trapped in here with us? I would think that the dogs would pick up on it just like that. I think that they would pick up on it if there was one in here scratching at the door to get out. But somehow the other day I came in and that door was open and there was a cat in here. And Stella had the cat cornered, barking at her and barking at him. And so I had to get the dogs back out because like they notice. So I don't know. I think that probably is a cat trying to get in here or something. But there keeps just being weird shit. Weird noises, weird things. Yesterday with those noises of the things crashing, I could never find anything. Even outside, I couldn't see anything that had fallen or anything. So I had no idea what that crash was. And then when I went upstairs, my mom said her brand new thing of laundry detergent had crashed and it was spilled everywhere. And so she's trying to clean it up, which if your laundry detergent spills, just make sure you clean it like with a bunch of individual towels or washcloths or paper towels or something, and then put those in a container because you can throw those in with your laundry so your stuff's not wasted. Because I've had that happen before, and that's what she was doing too. So I know it gets frustrating. People just get out their mops and they're just crying. I can't believe I wasted all that money. But yeah, don't waste the money. Just clean it up and use it like little, just like little packets that they give us to throw in the laundry. Just make your own. So just use washcloths, paper towel, whatever you got. Cut up a sheet into rags and use that. So, and then when you throw it in the laundry, it's going to make all the suds go in there. So it'll clean the stuff. So anyways, when her thing had fallen and then she also had some crash too, made me think like, man, is it like an energy, like a ghost energy or whatever going through? Which, keep in mind too, I was watching this movie yesterday. I can't remember what it was, but something about ghosts. And, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it was kind of hokey, but it was cute. Ghost story. Because it was like in between a goofy one and in a romantic comedy or something. I don't know. It was kind of silly, but it was cute. But anyways, this one person who was the professor, he was talking about ghosts are angry and they're mad. Or no, was he saying they weren't? Ghosts aren't angry and mad. I don't remember. There was somebody who was saying that ghosts were angry and mad. And I don't remember if he was trying to say they aren't because other people are saying they are. But somehow in this movie it was brought up about ghosts are angry and stuff like that. But they're not. Ghosts aren't just angry. That's what people got to get out of their mind. Ghosts are scary. They're angry. They don't want to be dead. Are you kidding me? The second, go read some near-death experience, the second that somebody crosses over, they beg not to go back. There isn't anybody who gets over there and is like, oh, I'm so mad. I just want to go back. There's people who do feel, but most of them get forced back. They don't want to go back. Even ones with little kids and everything. They're like, hell no, this is peaceful. This is where I belong. This is how I feel most best. And they don't want to go back. And then they have to go back. So, yeah, ghosts aren't here being mad that they're dead. I think ghosts, a lot of the ghost energy is that the spirit is just kind of trapped in a situation that it can't get itself out of now because there's nothing to complete it. So it just keeps going back in and trying to complete something that it can't complete. So it's just like it keeps hitting its head on the wall, trying to make something happen. And so, it could be a frustrating energy. It can be frustration energy. It can be like, like when you're trying to do something and nothing's going right, and you keep trying. And so it's kind of like that kind of energy. And I think it comes from a lot like a sudden, like something like you're, like say you're on your way to work and you have this big thing you're going to show everybody. And then like a conference kind of, like the big count. And so you've been preparing for it for months or years or however long, and you're so excited, this is going to change your life, it's going to change your family's life or whatever. And so then you are on your way to go do the presentation and you get killed. And so that energy is so focused on what it was doing and what it needed to do that it gets trapped in like this energetic kind of thing. Some can get pulled out and go, but when you're talking about why do some stay, it's like they've got to get to this other thing. Hey, some get trapped because the pain in their families, and the tragic death, causes a lot of pain in families, and so then the families will hold on to them, and so they're kind of held and bound to the families there. The But, and then when somebody dies, like in a tragedy or something, like how that will keep going and going and going. It is like these like energetic loops. It's like they can't go outside of the loop. It's like there's only this one energy that they can keep playing. So they just keep like doing the same things over and over and over and over. And then eventually, because that one lady in that QHHT who she saw herself as a ghost, and she after a while she did leave and go, so they do cross over or something at some point. It's not like that they just stay there forever, but they can get caught up in a loop. And she said even when she because hers was waiting for her husband to return, and it had also past life connections when she was married to him a different time, and one of them abandoned the other one. And so in this lifetime, one of them, he had left or something, and she was waiting for him. And because people get in these patterns back and forth doing this stuff to each other. Like, bet your ass when you see these people like killing each other and stuff, it's like goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, life after life after life. Even some of these ones that are like their kids and stuff, we look at it as like it's a kid, but really, it could have been their mother or father in a past one. These things just keep playing out and playing out. But so so she said that she was trapped there waiting for him, and somebody else bought their house and moved in, so she started trying to get them out of the house. So she was like haunting the house. She would slam doors and stuff, and she was frustrated. And I lived in one of those houses. That was the one where I got so sick. Oh my God, I'd never been so sick. And I knew it was her. I knew it was her making me sick. And she had died of a respiratory illness, and I was so sick with some weird respiratory illness, and I had what was that called? Not staph, strep. I'd never had strep before, and they said that's so unusual to get strep in your 50s when you've never had it before. I was like, I've never had it. And I've been tested because I always had throat things. My throat has always been a weak spot, and I would get laryngitis. I'd lose my voice all the time as a kid. And so anyways, I've had a lot of those tests, and I never had strep. And so they said that was really unusual, and she was making me so sick, and she would constantly shut doors, and she was always picking my husband's side, and he was, oh God, what a rager. And so, it's not like they're rational. It's not like that they can see and pick up on what's really going on in the room. It's like it's like following impulses or something. It's like following desires. So our desires and stuff, see, they can affect your orb. Um, because then she was like, felt very connected, I think, to him, because I think she was confused as um, to where her husband was, because she died and then he got taken to a nursing home. And so, and I think he was there for a while, like a year or something. So she was probably hanging around him all the time. And then all of a sudden he got taken, and then we moved in, and it threw her. Like, she didn't know, like, really what was going on. And so she started the haunting, but she was very connected to him. Like, it was weird. And he could see her all the time. She would go out and follow him around. He'd be out working in the garage, and he'd turn, and he could see a figure standing there watching and stuff. And he would wake up, and she would be sitting, like, she was always around him. And I think she really missed her husband, but she was confused. And so one time I locked him out, and she unlocked the door. So I was like, there's no fucking way. And yeah, he was storming around the house trying to get in, and he was like, I was so fucking, there was so many times I was so fed up. I don't, man, I'm so glad that I've grown up. But anyways, I had, because there was the door into the house that I had locked, so he could go into the door and go down in the basement. I think it was. But when I got up in the morning, that lock into the house was unlocked, and I was like, man, that is her. She'd turn on the water, and she would shut doors. She's constantly turning on the water, and she flooded the bathroom. She just would do shit all the time. It was like, at the time, I kept thinking, is she trying to tell me I'm not clean enough? Like, what is her deal? Like, why is she constantly doing this? And but anyways, listen to that QHHT thing, and that woman was like, she wanted these people out of her house, so she was doing those same things. And she wanted him out because she wanted her husband back there. And then she said it had been a few years, and then her guides came to her and said, are you done yet? And so she said, yeah, she was done. And so she left with them then. So, you know, it's not like ghosts are mindless, but it's like they're trapped in an impulse. They're trapped in a feeling. They're trapped in an incompletion or something that wasn't completed, something that was taken too soon or something. So they get trapped. Or different you know, your family can bind you too in their pain and stuff. That's one thing that, you know, some of the parents who fall apart when their kids die, that it holds your kid there. And so it's kind of like your pain is trapping your kid. It's not like you're never going to see him again, but you're trapping him in your pain. And so it's best to heal and to let him go. I mean, a lot of people feel guilty, like, well, letting him go, that means that they didn't exist, they don't matter and stuff like that. But no, you got to think on a spiritual level. You binding him to you to process your pain is because it'll come. Like, that's one thing, is when somebody dies, that they are very busy for a while going around to be with the people who are sad. And they'll communicate in dreams and stuff, and so they're around when those things happen. But there's periods of time, especially on certain kind of deaths, where people don't process. They get stuck, and they just hold themselves, bind themselves to either guilt or anger or whatever it is. They get stuck somewhere. And that's when, you know, you're not doing any service to your dead person, you know, because you got to give them back their freedom and let their soul go. But also you have to go through the process, because they are a part of your soul thing, and they want you to go through the process. They want you to heal and stuff. But it's important to be actively healing, to see the purpose behind it, to understand there's a reason. And there's a reason. And the spiritual side has just got more reasoning. It's like it makes more sense than this weird world that they created that makes no sense, where everything is upside down and backwards, and the worse you are, the better things go for you. But all that is changing. So it seems like that as the money is being shown to be so corrupt, that it's going to be the start of it going back. Another weird kind of thing that Donald said, like there's something going on right now about what are they called? My mom said it's like all over the news. They keep talking about it. There's these hostages somewhere. I don't know why I keep thinking Egypt, or is it Ewar? But they've got hostages somewhere. And maybe it's Afghanistan, and Joe didn't do anything. So they're making a big thing about it because Donald's going to get him. And so the news is like, well, what if they don't give him back? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And he's like, well, we'll see. And so I think it's tomorrow. It might be today, sometime over this weekend, where, you know, they'll see if they're going to give him them back, or if they're going to do tariffs or what's going to go down. And but one of the things is that he had said something about the BRICS. And so I don't know, because part of this stuff where he keeps trying to, I think there's just a plan of how they're having the dollar go down. And he's got to show that, you know, he appreciates it. It's not, you know, it's not him doing it. We're going to make sure the dollar has value. We're going to do this for the dollar. We're going to do that for the dollar. And they're not going to be telling us that, you know, our dollars don't matter and stuff. And so I don't know how they're going to play it out, because we're not going to be on the dollars. The whole fiat system is going. We're going to go on to the BRICS. It's just, to me, it's like all of this stuff to try and talk about it, to get the people to get their attention or something. But yeah, we're going to go on the BRICS thing. We're going to go on the gold standard. I don't know if it's going to still be called BRICS or whatever, but we're going to it's going to be a global thing. It's going to be that is how we decide about money anymore. It's got to be based on a true asset, like something that you actually have, like gold. So you actually have gold, and you say, you know, I've got a pound of gold. I've got 15 ounces of gold. Well, how much is gold worth? Well, at this time in the market, gold is worth, what, $3,980 an ounce or whatever. And so, and things can fluctuate. The price of gold and silver, they've been repressing silver. So silver is going to skyrocket. But gold, I don't know how much it's been repressed. But there's also going to be a lot of technologies and stuff where other things are going to start being used. And so silver is supposed to even go up more, because silver's got this whole new use that's going to be coming. So it's going to go drive the value up. So the asset can increase depending on the value of the asset. So if it's gold and we need gold for this and we use gold for that, then gold has all this value. So the more gold there is, then that is where the value comes. Like, you know, we want gold. Like, there would probably be people mining again. There'll be people looking for more gold, because gold will be necessary for our lives or whatever, or however it goes. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, because then if they start taking this silver and using it and making this silver thread, like what has been said, for some kind of technology, but I don't know if it's for our clothes or something. It's something protective. It's like this silver thread is like a night suit or something, like, you know, like those shark suits or something. But I don't know. So anyways, whatever this silver thread, so then they would be using the silver. So see, you would have to be getting more. But how do they keep the price of silver? Like, I guess there has to be a steady flow of it, or otherwise then it would start dropping in value, because they would run out of it and they wouldn't be able to use it anymore for this stuff. I don't know how it all goes. Like, I just know it's going to be asset based. So you have to have the gold, the silver, you have to have the asset there to give the value to the 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 currency. And so that has not been the case with the fiat system. That's why they would just print out more money and all these $13 trillion in debt and all this stuff, because it's a big old scam. It's a big old fucking bullshit laundry problem. And so there's nothing that backed it. At some point, they started having it be petrol. It was called the petrol dollar, because they, with their shady shit that they did with Saudi Arabia or something with the oil. And so then it was like, well, the dollar holds the currency for the oil or something. That's the, it was something about that. Like, you can look into it more or something. But anyways, that's all going to be falling apart, because we're not going to be, there's not going to be this group of people that are going into places and stealing all of their resources. Every place is going to have their own resources now. And so it's not going to be the same kind of manipulation going on. And so, and supposedly this whole petrodollar thing fell apart months ago. So it's weird how they just keep this shit going. But that just shows you like how fucking bullshit it is, man. It's fucking bullshit. And so, anyways, but in this new thing that they're doing, so in the gold, like there was all this money hoarding. The Vatican, the Chinese emperor, those two places had a whole lot. I know there's other places that had more, but it was these places that they went and took all this gold. And supposedly at the Chinese Empire thing, there was like 40 rooms or something where it was stacked, gold bars stacked from floor to ceiling, filling all these rooms. And supposedly with the Vatican, it took them like 600 plane loads or something to carry it all to wherever it is, because it's all of the assets are being gathered and then distributed to the nations that go onto this one world economy that's based on peace and liberty and freedom. See, that's a big thing. When I see some of this stuff going with the immigration stuff, and some of the people like on the news and everything, like some of this stuff is like getting crazy. And, like they're going out there to battle and chasing people and stuff. It's like, you got to have a long, hard look at yourself. Like, these are human beings. We're all free. And why are you thinking that you need to go out and chase people down and have gun battles at the border? Like, what the hell? It's like, man. And some people, like, get all into that. And it's like, because that's what they're here to play out. That's what they're here to experience. They've got things they're playing out from past lives or whatever. But but all that show, all this part of the show is to also get us to, it's going to, I don't know how it's going to move us towards freedom, because we're all going to start being like, bullshit. I don't know how it all goes, but I know that we are all going to become free. And there's not going to be so much restriction. And I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to maybe be a step down, well, you can go back to the countries where you have heritage, and then that'll open that, and it'll just be like keep opening and opening doors to the pretty much, then it's just like, you just go where you want and do what you want, and it's not, the government trolls over there asking you to show your papers, and you got to go get this license to go with that license. Now they've even come up with a new driver's license that you have to have in order to it is so absurd. It's like it's just one thing after another, and the new one, of course, is like triple the price or something. So it's just absurd. It's just so absurd. One good thing though with my little satellite thing is on the insurance. This is such bullshit too, but as long as we're playing the game, may as well save some money. And so they hook a little thing on your car, and then if you don't drive very much, you don't get charged insurance. So anyways, and I don't drive very much. You guys know how much I stay home. Because I was telling my mom the other day, I was like, leaving to go download, and I was like, man, I never go anywhere. Like, this is such a pain in the ass. I never go anywhere. And she goes, you never do. I don't know. She thinks like I just leave every day and just go out because I'm bored. But no, I don't do that. And so she said, oh, well, they can put a thing on your car. I didn't say before because when you were over there, they would know you weren't here. And the whole way I can be on her insurance is say that I'm here. And so now that I really do show that I'm here is, she said, we can put this thing on your car. And if your car doesn't drive, but she said, because she has one on her car, and she said it really drops the insurance down by a lot. She said that they can watch your speed and all this stuff and see like how intrusive. Like the whole thing is just bullshit. Like everything about their government and their system is just whacked. It's wacky bullshit, man. So, but it's all where we just, and at this point now, because, you know, my car loan is through her and my car insurance is through her. So we'll have to just pay because it's, you know, it's through her. It's so crazy too, because when I very first got the car thing, I thought the financial thing was already falling apart. And I was like, well, I'm probably not going to even pay. And so I didn't pay for a couple of things. It was probably stressing her out. She's probably paying on the down low or something. And I was like, but it's all about to crash. But that has been years now. And now I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have this goddamn car paid off before this fucking crash occurs. It's like so annoying. I can't believe how long it's drug out, man. But it still is going, and but that's what the BRICS thing is about. It's like this joining in on we're all going to treat each other with respect, and we're not going to try and invade. We're not going to try and steal resources. But there's a lot of things that have to be set, and that's what Donald keeps talking about, like how we keep getting ripped off, and we're paying more, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, because he's got to get it all on equal ground, which all the different countries got to do, but it's all part of it. And so how each one is told or whatever, they're all going through, because we're all going through our own separate things through this. And so that brings us into this gold nation, the era of the Jubilee, the era of the golden era, this golden age, and which is, it's all in spiritual stuff. Like, this is really happening, and that's what I base it on, is spiritual stuff. And so, you know, that's what's so weird. All these people who claim to be so spiritual, and it's like, but they don't have any idea what's going on spiritually. Even if they do say things, it's like they still don't see it. They don't understand it or something. And it's, I don't know. You gotta really, you know, you can't just blind follow people. And so, anyways, so as this plays out and they get us over onto the gold thing, that is where it's the good things about it, because I know it freaks some people out because what they were trying to do with the money thing before, because this is going to be something that is going to seem similar to some people, because the quantum system is going to, you're your own banker too. You don't have to go through banks and stuff. And there's going to be all these different ways that they're going to be putting money back into communities, instead of just handing people, you know, here's $1 million for you, $1 million for you. But there's going to probably be, because it keeps being brought up about people should be getting some tax money back, this misspending and all that. So there can be where, you know, they did it before, and during the sickness, like they gave everybody $1,500 or something. But this will be, I think that, I think that they will, people who lost houses and stuff, like I'm sure I would be included in that kind of thing too, because I lost 2 houses before this one. And when the banks have taken the houses and stuff like that, that there will be, or storms or any of that, I think that there will be a wave of like giving houses back. And I don't know if they're going to do it through the Freedom Cities or how it's going to go, but I think that there's going to be, just like what they're doing in South Carolina right now. It's like, well, we're going to give them all their money back for their taxes plus 30% so that they can rebuild and stuff. So there will be these kinds of things that will go on to but that's going to be money going back into communities to help the people. This is like the start. This is everything turning. And so it's going to keep going and going. Businesses that will fail, but then they'll go through the trauma, because you got to let go of stuff. Then it will go into, new ones starting, and better things will be starting. The things that we'll be losing are going to be things that have been taken from us, and the things that we're going to be gaining are giving back to us. So it's going to be a totally change in energy. But so but the quantum thing is supposed to be, it will be asset based. So there has to be, the gold has to be somewhere. So if you have, $10,000 and the gold is worth 3,000 per ounce or whatever, so then that means like you have 2.5 ounces or something of gold, and so it would show in your thing how much money you have. And then there's going to be some coins too. If you want to use coins, there's going to be some kind of coins. And then there's going to be other systems too. There's going to be bartering systems where people will barter. Things will be different. It's not going to be like this idolized money thing and stuff. It's just going to be different. And how they bring the money in is going to be, like out of necessity for a while, I think, of rebuilding communities and stuff and putting them into, and I still say there's going to be people there giving direction of, safer kind of things. Like, I think it's kind of like we got to go up in elevation. So maybe in South Carolina, over in the mountains, where some of the mountains are tore up, they'll have them move to other parts or something. He's got like all these people coming in, like the army of engineers and stuff coming in and going to build bridges and stuff. But that can be where they start saying, well, this is where we're going to put it, because this is going to, and I think that they have an awareness of places that are going to be safe. So I still say they're going to be putting people in places that are going to be more safe when they're rebuilding. I don't think they're going to be rebuilding just to have it tore down again by another storm, another mess, so so I would say, but see, some of the disasters too on the waterfront are just happening. So once they happen and the water comes in and those places aren't there anymore, and those people who have evacuated are going to be looking for places to go. And so they won't be rebuilding under the water. So that kind of stuff will happen too. But in places of, like, I think there was a big tornado that just took out something. There was a bad tornado that just happened somewhere. Like, but in all these different places, see, that a lot of these places, they have to, it's like they have to end. See, confirmation, they have to end so something new can begin. So anyways, it's going to keep on having these endings and beginnings, but it's going to get better, and it's going to be global, and it's going to be based on peace, and it's going to be based on everybody being equal. Like, all the countries, the amount of money is going to go equally. And I wonder too, maybe if it hasn't gone on all here, if it isn't because some big disaster is going to happen, and there's going to be a bunch of people gone, and it's like, well, why would we waste the money and give it to them? We're going to give it to the people who are going to be left. So, because there's going to be these big periods of, lots of people leaving at once. Like I've said, I think there's going to be big groups of people leaving at once, which to me, it kind of is like big groups of people just going home altogether. And home can be a lot of different places. I just don't see it like how people see, like, oh, you go to heaven, you die and go to heaven, and then you just are in heaven. It's like, I don't see it like that. I see that there's a lot of heavens. There's a lot of places to go. There's lots of experiences out there. You don't just go to the one. And even at the one, like I was saying, like this Emerald City or something, this one, it's like, I don't know, it's like a gathering place or something. Um, but it's like, it's not, it's like you could go there and stuff. It's like there's committees and stuff. There's stuff there, but it's not like, I don't know. It's like wanting to, I don't know. Okay. So like when you're sitting here, like, I don't know, I do this. Like I'm sitting here, like say I'm bored or something. And it's like, oh, I just want to go and shut my eyes and meditate or go in a dream. I want to go someplace else. So that's where I want to go. So that to me is kind of like, like, all right, we want to go somewhere and have some experience. We don't want to just sit here. We don't want to just do nothing. And so to me, it's like that in the heavens. Like if you go to the heavenly, the Emerald City or something, then it's like, I don't know, boring or something. It's like you want to go out and have experiences. You want to go have fun with your friends. You want to go out and do things and go to other places and stuff. So I see it as like more of like orbs. We're all zipping around, going to places and stuff. I don't see us all just going in the heavens, and I definitely don't see us all just sitting at the feet of Christ, singing to him for eternity. Like, no, I see that would not even be an expansion in the universe. That would be a stagnation. Is the expansion is all of our energy all going to go experience. And that's what creates the universe. It's what creates everything. It's like the minds that can create things are the creative minds that create the world, the possibilities. And so, and there's tons of possibilities, and they're on different vibrations. You got to remember we're in something that's very low vibration. Like we are a high vibration being, and then we come into the low vibration, which to me is like an exploration. It's like a challenge. And so, but then there's all these people who forget. It's what's so weird. It's like we're going to see them all wake up to the remembering who you are, remembering what you are, remembering what you're doing here and stuff. And it's going to be like coming out of like what? Because there's so many people who think like, oh, that's not real. Ghosts aren't real. Bigfoot's not real. Monsters aren't real. That's not real. That's not real. It's like, what? So, that's a lot of limitation you got there. So anyways, yeah, everything is a lot more bigger and broader. And there's a lot of creative minds out there, creating realities and creating space and stuff. And then any being, I think, can go. If you are in a vibration, you can go where it is you want to go. And then, and to this one, though, it just seems like that it's challenging. But there is, because of the dark things that can play out here, that it gets things where you think about the karmic balance. So like, like I said, you get these people who just go back and forth killing each other. They don't work through their problems. They just get mad at the person and do them in. Life after life, they go back and forth until they figure it out and somebody does something different. And so, always in your life, I think, is you try and go towards something that is uncomfortable. Because when you go towards the things that are real comfortable, is probably the pattern that you have continued for eons. And so when you do something that's uncomfortable, I think that you're working yourself out of a familiar pattern that you have continued for a long time. So I think it's important to challenge yourself, to push yourself, to do things that are like, oh, this is really uncomfortable. And because then you're creating change for yourself. But this game, like what we're in, this realm, this reality, is just like it's a whole nother level. And I don't think it's the only one. I don't think this is like the only place like this. I think that there's more places like this, but it's definitely its own realm of existence, of like, yeah, kind of like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas or something. But so you'd have to come back in here to put your stuff back in balance. So you have to have, all these people that you're killing back and forth. You guys have to come back in and keep trying to put it in balance and keep trying to put it in balance to let go of it. And otherwise, it's like a binding. It holds you back. You can't, just because people, I swear to God, I think people think when you die, you let go of everything. No, you don't. No, you don't. And it goes with you. It is a part of your structure. It's a part of your DNA. You don't forget. Nothing just goes away. It's like, no, that's not how it goes. And I think a lot of people think like that you're going to escape this pain and suffering from just death was going to be their escape. No, you got yourself in a trap then, because then you got to come back and clean up your stuff that you were, because everything to me is like, you just got to go deeper. You got to go look deeper. Like, and then you see like, oh, I'm here for a reason. I got to do this while I'm here. And trying to hide from your pain, trying to, ignore it or feed into your anger and think like, oh, well, when I die, it's all going to go away. It is not at all. In that is where you get yourself in these traps, like these binding, these ghosts, and it's like, oh my God, how am I going to fix this now? And they sit there trying to fix it and they can't. And because you got to turn around and you got to come back in to put things back in balance. And that's why there's a lot of like higher dimension, higher vibing beings that don't want to come in and do this, because of the trappings, because of the binding that can occur, and the loss of, forgetting who you are when you get in here, and then doing stupid shit. And then you get yourself stuck in these entanglements and you can't get out of them. You can't just, it just doesn't work like that. Like, you get out and then you guys meet up and okay, well, we're just going to be over it. No, because as soon as you get back into a life, that same tension comes back because something's not worked through. So you got to figure out how to work through the tension and how to work through the anger, because that is, that's the negative side of your soul, is the impulsive, the part that brings out the fetish and the impulse and the overly emotional, the victim. All those things are the things that you want to work on, to be able to pull free from that energy so that you can pull towards independence, where you don't have these entanglements with all these other souls, like, because most of that becomes very toxic. Like, and when you're trying to be dependent on each other to make each other feel better. And it's important for the soul to be able to move on by being in its independence, its sovereignty, is to not be dependent on other people to make you feel better, to be able to figure out how to make yourself feel better, how to like yourself. You don't need everybody else to come up and tell you that you're okay. You just got to be comfortable with yourself and like yourself. And and that is a release. You're not dependent. You don't play games. You don't try and manipulate. You don't try and do little things to, please these people so that they will like you. Instead, you just get to be yourself. And if they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, then, not everybody's going to like you. You don't have to try and get everybody to like you. That's a waste of time. Trying to get everybody to like you. Like, why? What's the point? Like, that right there, it shows like you're willing to play games or manipulation, or what is your desperation? Why do you need everybody to like you? You don't even know everybody. So why does it matter? What matters is the relationships that you have are better relationships. That you have healthy relationships with people. And then the people that don't want to have a healthy relationship back with you, there's not really anything you can do about it. It's like, sometimes you just gotta let people go about their business and go figure their stuff out for themselves. And then if they come back and they say, hey, I worked through my anger and my tension and I can have a healthy relationship now, then that's a whole other thing, when you can have healthy relationships together, when you're not depending on each other, playing games with each other and stuff. So, I just know that there's a healthy world out there that isn't in this toxic pool. Like, it is definitely in the split. You know, there's the people who like themselves, who aren't going to be trying to get you to do things to make them feel better or something, that they're fine. Oh, they're good. And then there's the people who are still in that, you know, poor me, and what can I do, and how do I get this, and I do so much and nobody cares. I do that to the dogs. It's like, oh my God, I do so much. You guys don't give anything back to me. All you do is take. It's like, this is like this energy from when I was a mom, when the kids were little. I just hear myself again. It's like, oh my God, I definitely I can see, you know, I need something given back to me too. I need things to be in balance. I can't just give and give and give and give and not feel resentful and you know, and is it just so I can see this side of myself, you know? I mean, because what are the dogs going to do? They're not going to all of a sudden go, oh, here, Mom, I'm going to go make you a cup of tea. I know you just need one. It's like, no, they're just going to come up and stare at me and be like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What if I lick you a lot? Will that make you better? It's like, no, I really won't. I don't really like slobber on me. So Stella gets told that all the time. She always wants to come up and lick me. And like, it's the cutest thing. What a sweet girl she is. And her tail is just always wagging. But that tail is a weapon. And boy, it's like the energy of our existence right now is like closing in on us or something. It feels like, you know, it's getting smaller. Our little ways to walk around, we're blocking each other. Because I know it's time for us to, like, you know, expand. And I know an expansion is coming. But, and there's things, you know, to learn here and stuff, you know, and experience and everything. So, you know, I just know that this isn't forever, and I know that there's something good coming. But anyway, Stella with her tail, she's always wagging her tail, but boy, it just hitting into shit nonstop, things flying all the It's like, oh, the thing she knocked over the other day was huge. It was like this giant Grecian vase or something. It was like 4.5 feet tall or something. It was a big thing with all these flowers in it. My mom would put it out by her pool, and I have no idea how she even, because it was tucked back between these two things. Stella walks by and her tail must have hit it and just went down and just shattered into a million pieces. I was like, oh my God. And then I had to go up and tell my mom, and I felt really bad. And it was one of her friends that died had given it to her, so that was like her connection to her friend, so it made her sad. And I told her a weird story, because this is kind of strange, because you know how I feel about hats. I really don't like hats, and I know I'm not sitting here wearing hats all the time, but like if I were to go out, I would wear a hat a lot. And so anyways, so I have some hats that I really like. I like old hats and stuff. And so, and I like man hats too. And so, this, it's funny too, because I like man shoes. There's some stuff that I like that is man stuff. And, I think that's what gives some of the people like more of an androgyny kind of thing, you know, but I do like some man stuff, but it was weird when I was younger, because like people weren't wearing man, you know, people were very gender specific over what they wore, and I would always cross over, but I was always like taller, and so anyways, but that to me is just a thing. So the man, what was I talking about? Like the man's shoes, the man, I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about now. I go off on these things. But it used to be where people didn't wear other things. Oh man, I don't remember what I was going to say. But man, I feel like I'm lost on what I was talking about at all. That drives me crazy. Well, hopefully I finished what I was talking about. I don't know if I did. Hopefully it was like the wrap up of whatever it was I was saying, because I don't have any idea what I was talking about. I know I was talking about something with wearing, um, it's funny too, because like I mean, like, back in the 70s and stuff, there was a lot of men who wore stuff that was, there was like a lot of androgyny in the clothes back then. There wasn't like a lot of girls that were going and buying guys stuff. And there was definitely lots of guys who wore things that were like feminine stuff, like Robert Plant and stuff. Like they wear these really low pants, these shirts open, these scarves, and all this stuff. Like there was a lot of, uh, and they had long hair. There was a lot of being more in touch with their feminine side, but there wasn't girls that were, I don't know, I'm not cross dressers or whatever. That's more of, because I wore stuff that people thought that was weird. They were like, that's weird. Like when I started wearing men's, when they made those boxers, the tighter boxers, I can't remember what they're called. They weren't just the loose boxers. They were boxer underwear, and I put those on. I was like, what in the hell? What is up with women's underwear? That's some bullshit. And I started wearing those because those ones were like, this is comfortable. This other stuff that they're giving us is some bullshit. And but then when you think about it like that, all that is long underwear that is cut off. Which, I think we all wore long underwears at some point in time. I think everybody wore it. So I don't really think I think that they just took women's underwear and started trying to turn them into sex objects, try and make it all sexy, and then try and put pressure on us to dress in sexy underwear all the time. Well, it's not comfortable. You can go wear sexy underwear. And then you got the fetish guys who do want to go put on the sexy underwear, and then they want to feel all feminine. I don't know. It's weird because things turn into such fetishy, such weird stuff. But this is the place where this kind of stuff plays out, is this place. Like, I think that every place has unique kind of experiences. Like, this is very much like you wouldn't go, I mean, I think there's other places like this, but you wouldn't go and have the exact same experiences. Like, there's places that you can have certain experiences. Like, I don't know if how many different places there are that you can go and, play out all your fetishes and do all your weird stuff that you want to do. Because it is where that stuff can play out here. But anyways, people have gone too far with it. People are going to be going to prison over and stuff. So like people are going to be like teachers that are running the kids out. Like, what the hell? Oh my God. What is that called when they would have their flock or whatever, the pimp would have their people or whatever. It's like they've got their students, their little flock or whatever it's called. It's like, oh my God, our world is such a distortion and perversion, man. Like, the perversion was really fed in here. It's like everybody went completely crazy, perverted. Not everybody. That became kind of like the conservative and the liberal kind of like, and because that is one thing too. I think that they created the LGBT, that whole little thing was like, oh, let's get all the people who are feeding into their fetishes and stuff, let's put them under this like a title, and then we'll gather them together, and then we'll feed into their acceptance issues or abandonment issue, whatever. And so, because that has been a whole thing, because they are not supportive of these people. No, but they use them as a cover. And so, I don't know. I think that there's going to be people who have been a part of that who are going to feel used by these other people. They're not going to feel supported. They're going to feel like, they were the beard for some of these perverts and stuff. But it's going to go further. It's going to push them further and further. So it's going to get, like they probably will add on the pedos to the end and say, well, we got to accept them too. And so that probably will come, and that's going to push a lot of those people and be like, because I've seen it going for years now. Different people who were gay and stuff like that saying, hey, I'm not in that group. I'm not part of any of that. And because it becomes so, it's like used by the government too, especially when you see like, that is one thing when they're exposing all these trans people, all these people who are in government who are pretending not to be. They're pretending like they are uh, born this way or something. And that's not cool. Like, how can you say that you are in support of these people when you're not even being real over who you are? Like, it's all bullshit. So it's wherever these people start feeling like, hey, these people aren't for us. So that all has to play out. There's lots of little things that have to play out. But everything is you just becoming comfortable with yourself and, not just conforming and being what everybody else thinks, the perfect girl or the perfect guy or whatever, just to figure out who it is that you are and who you want to be. And you do have some parameters over deciding who you want to be, because you don't have to feed into all of your emotions and all of your impulses and stuff. You can get control of yourself. As a matter of fact, I believe that's a little part of the road to enlightenment, is to get control of yourself and to also find peace in your own heart, in your own world, in your own self. So anyways, I feel like sometimes I just start saying the same thing over and over. So I will go. Now my stomach's growling too. I'll go make another cup of tea. And, but let me think, because it seemed like there was something else I was going to say. But there's going to just keep being more stuff going on. And the money thing there's a whole way it's going to play out. And it's going to play out better. It's not going to be something where it's not going to be this social credit score and stuff. It's going to go different. And I think there's going to be more money coming in for people to give them kind of a buffer if they're going to be giving us money back from taxes. And things are just going to keep falling into place, just like RFK is going to stop the spraying. So there's going to be more things that are going to just keep going into place, but there's going to be some stuff that's going to go down. And now we're into the weekend, so we'll see if something's really going to happen. Well, my mom said that there's this whole thing going with this, these hostages. I was like, well, I guess that could be the thing, this battle. It could lead us into something happening. I don't know. We just got to see. And I'm just hoping that it really is, because I've heard so many times with the money and the med beds and stuff like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to be this weekend. It's going to be this week. It's going to be next month and all that. I just know it's coming, and we have to go through whatever we have to go through to get there. And so whatever we go through, you just got to go through it. Just process through it, because there's nothing else we can do about it. I wish it was that we could just jump all this stuff and get to the good part, but, we can't. That's not what life's all about. So, anyways, I'll show you my tooth. So look at that. I haven't seen it yet. See, it gets light again. It goes through this darker and then gray. It's like it goes gray, orange, whiter. Gray, orange, white. It's like it does that, I think. So, anyways, just remember what you're doing here. With a messy fucking hair. Just remember what you're doing here is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. And I think those things are really, any of those where you focus on that is going to get you to the right place. So anyways, that's all I got to say about it. And I may come back and talk some more today, because now I can download whenever I want. So what else I got to do? I'm sitting in a garage and it's cold and icy, and I don't think we could drive out. Like, the timing was really good, because now we're right back to the snow. It's like, oh my God, after all that work I did on that driveway, it's just covered with snow again. And I was trying to walk down to the mail yesterday and slip in and slide, and like, fuck, man. So I don't know how long this is going to keep us trapped in here, because it's supposed to snow again. But then by next weekend, it's supposed to be 40. So I don't know. But the higher temperatures doesn't melt the snow. It has to have the sun. it has to melt in, is whatever they do with the sun. And if it's behind the clouds or if it's out there shining. So anyways, you just got to see how it goes. But I don't really have a lot to do, so I may come back and talk more about what's going on, because there is a lot going. There's a lot going. So anyways, just remember, through all this stuff going on, process through it, see how it hits you, and try and figure out why. And then just remember, because I'm telling you, if you focus on these things, it's going to get you where you want to go. Focusing on figuring out how to love yourself, loving everybody, and out of a loving day. So I will talk to you later. Bye.